How can you avoid problems you don't know about? I didn't have sushi growing up, but I had a friend, once I became an attorney actually, who invited me to have some sushi at a restaurant. He invited my wife, me, and a couple other people. And there was this big platter of sushi, and it was so good. It was delicious. It was a restaurant in Minneapolis. But, you want to be polite. Even though this sushi was incredible and I was hungry, I didn't want to eat a whole lot. That's rude. You want to be polite, make sure there's enough for everybody. Well, towards the end of the evening, there was still a lot of sushi left on this platter. Probably more than 2 or 3 people could eat. And there were about 10 people or maybe 15 at this table. But I decided to get a little bit more sushi. I thought that wouldn't be impolite. And I noticed a large amount of guacamole was left on this platter. And for some reason, nobody had eaten it up. I love guacamole. So I took a nice helping of guacamole as well as a few pieces of sushi. And I'll never forget the moment where I dipped the sushi and got a nice big chunk of guacamole and put it in my mouth. And it was at that moment that my body immediately reacted in a way that I have never noticed before. Before my brain could even recognize that there was something of extreme danger in my mouth, my body jolted up and I immediately went to the bathroom without swallowing what was in my mouth because I knew something was seriously wrong. Now, if you've had sushi before, you probably know it wasn't a big chunk of guacamole that was left on this platter. It was wasabi, made with horseradish and extremely hot and spicy. And as I removed the food from my mouth in the bathroom, I sent a text to the host that I might not be there for a couple minutes because I was wiping tears out of my eyes. And I left a little warning. Be careful of the guacamole. It's really hot. And I was said that somewhat in jest because I knew whatever that was, it wasn't guacamole. I had never had anything like that before. What's the point of this story? Sometimes if we don't know about what something is, we can't protect ourselves. When I was growing up, there was a friend of our family named John Hadrill. And I remember he taught a group of us in the youth group, in the local Christian church youth group. And he said, you can learn wisdom and lessons different ways. You can learn them through your own mistakes. That's the most painful. Or you can learn it through others' mistakes. And a modified version of that is you can learn from experts who have studied the mistakes of others. But the point here is that we can go through the excruciating direct pain if we make mistakes ourselves. But if we can learn from others or experts who understand how all of this works, we can avoid the pain ourselves. In other words, we can avoid eating a large chunk of wasabi if we simply know that's not guacamole, that's wasabi there. The purpose for this YouTube channel is to help you identify what is guacamole and what is wasabi, so that you can enjoy the guacamole and you can have the wasabi only if you want it and in the portions you want it. When going through growing a business, you will have opportunities of great good, great contracts, great partnerships, great relationships with others to grow your business. And then you might have times of risk where you decide, how do I minimize this risk? But unfortunately, the business owners who come to me in trouble often found themselves in trouble because they didn't know how to avoid it. They didn't know how to identify and differentiate the wasabi from the guacamole. So this YouTube channel is here to help you identify what will help you grow your business and how can you avoid the dangerous problems, the spicy, high-risk, painful scenarios, so that you don't have to go through the painful lessons others have gone through. You can grow from the wisdom that others have gleaned through the painful experiences they had without experiencing that pain yourself. That is the purpose for this YouTube channel. You are welcome to subscribe to our little reminder email system at aaronhall.com/free. I'm Aaron Hall, an attorney for business owners and entrepreneurial companies. It was a pleasure talking with you today and answering your questions from an educational perspective. As I always say, before you rely on any of this, consult with an attorney. It's my hope that you use these questions to identify topics and questions to bring up with your attorney. I hope you are doing well. Take care.